Taking your students to the farm is a great idea because it's real-world learning. Not all of learning takes place in a classroom. You can't replicate the sights, the sounds and the smells of a farm in a classroom, and the children seem to get a lot out of the experience. Today we went to Redgates Farm, which is just a mile away from the school. In fact, it's exactly a mile away from the school. We always make a big point of walking to the farm, just to show them how far a mile is, and we can talk about issues like food miles as we're walking down there and how far their food travels. Then when we arrive at the farm, we meet the farmer, introduce ourselves to the farmer, and he takes us on a tour of the farm.
These cattle are actually calves that I bought. We didn't breed these ourselves, and they are about 6, 7 months old.
Never seen cows before.
No.
You need to get used to them.
Yeah.
Cute.
Right then, we'll go and find them something else to look at. Now then, who wants to climb over that fence without touching the electric fencer and carry a bucket of pellets into the middle of there?
We had to climb over the electric fence. Well, it wasn't turned on. And we had to carry the bucket, take it to like sort of next to the little shed thing, and empty the bucket of food onto the floor and like rattle it a bit to make them come to it and make them eat it.
We're trying to make that sort of whole farm to fork connection for the students. For me, the key thing that the farm visits give the children is the knowledge of where their food has come from, that their food isn't pre-packaged in a supermarket, that actually it was a living thing on a farm.
How big's your farm?
About 110 hectares. That's about 260 acres.
They all live in big spaces.
What does free range mean?
Free range means that they have access to the outside. They can walk about, but these are free range.
When I ask the students where meat comes from, they always say the supermarket. When I ask the question on the way back from the farm, they give a different answer.
I've never been to a farm, but there's a nice farmer. I got to with the ducks some water. I put it into a can and it got a bit dirty, but it was okay. Then I started giving the ducks a shower.
Point it up in the air.
One of the things that's important to do before going on the farm visit, as well as risk assessing the visit, is talking to the farmer about what he's comfortable letting the students do. And also, it's their farm, it's their livelihood, and they've often got some good ideas of what the students can do, like collecting eggs, like going on a hay ride, like feeding the animals.
Who can run?
Me.
And carry a bucket at the same time?
Today, 3 of the students were given the task of feeding some of the lambs and the sheep out in the field, and the objective they were given was to walk every 5 paces and drop 2 handfuls of oatmeal down.
Now the sheep weren't expecting them.
Fortunately, they dropped the bucket and all the sheep crowded around them.
Why is one black and all the others white?
Well, it's a bit of a mystery really. We've actually got altogether about 12 black ones. We never breed with them, and we've only ever bred white sheep, but we keep getting black ones, so somewhere in history one of them got out and went where it shouldn't have done.
I really enjoy steak and chips, so my favourite animal on the farm is the cow.
Why does bulls have rings through the nose?
So you can control them. Because they've got the ring in, if you can put a hook in there, you've got to control, because if you quick tug on it, it hurts them.
We tend to do 2 or 3 farm visits a term, and the Redgates family are very generous with their time. We don't pay them anything, they do it all out of the kindness of their heart, and we're very lucky to have established the relationship with the farm.
It was fun. Everything's been fun. I wish I'd stay here for longer.
Hello, I'm Jill Nugent, the catering manager at East Comprehensive, and we're going to do a pass it on making chicken and vegetable stir fry. Pass it on really is just one person demonstrating how it's done, passing it on to 2 or 4 people, and then they go and they pass it on. We've bought chicken breasts and we're going to slice them very thinly, and the beauty about stir fry is, and the thing that you must always do, is get everything chopped up and ready to go before you start cooking. These are a year 8 and 9 student, Joe and Amy, that I'm going to be passing on today, and then they're going to pass it on.
She showed me and Joe how to cook the stir fry, and then we had to turn around and show other people from different years, and then they had to turn around and show the rest.
Right, so first of all, guys, if you want to get your oil,
really good fun 'cause it's like not something that like you know like students that don't really get a chance to do, like teach other people, but it's definitely fun. I'd like definitely like to do more of it again.
tip your meat in and we'll start frying. And once you start cooking, it's quite quick, that's why you have everything chopped ready, but you don't want it to burn. Just keep it moving. Oh, I'm not a teacher here, I'm the catering manager or a dinner lady. I am a trained cook, and it's great to pass it on because I'm not a teacher, and it gets them out of like the classroom environment, and it's just great to pass it on to them. Bean sprouts and your noodles, and that's it. Once you've got everything in and the spinach is wilted, just straight into a bowl and eat it immediately, straight away.
It was really nice actually. The flavours went really well together.
So I've just taught the first 2, and then they'll go now and they will teach the next 4.
Come on. Just keep stirring it.
Right, first everyone does that the thing spits when you add the chicken. And we added the vegetables, then we had stirred, and then we made it, and then as you can see, Paige only tried that much. And I've probably got triple hers.
It's lovely. I think the chicken's cooked really well, and the noodles and everything, it's lovely.
The best thing is eating it at the end.
That's really nice. It's dead flavoury and very good.
I love cooking because it's nice and I love eating food, and there's no else I can describe it to you. It's just wonderful.
It's a great idea to get students outside of the classroom and to get them growing their own produce on a school allotment. The allotment that we've got here is an organic allotment, so we don't use man-made chemicals. Today, after the students have got their overalls and their Wellington boots on, as always, we went down to the school canteen to fetch the fruit and vegetable peelings.
Hello Joe, have you got any compost today?
Morning, Amy. Yes, I have. There you go.
Thank you, Jill.
Thank you.
And we put them in the compost bin and create our own compost. If you want to pour them in the compost bin, well done. This compost is about 1 or 2 weeks old. The next bin along is 6 months old. And the third bin, that's a year old. So you can see the process as it goes through. One of the first things that I would recommend constructing when you start a school garden is a compost heap. Raised beds, you've also got more control over the growing area. So I would recommend raised beds, although it's not necessary to have timber beds like this. We've also got a leaf mould area and an area to keep the manure in. And the polytunnel comes in very useful, particularly on rainy days. Today then we're going to plant the potato seed in bed number 5. So if we go outside. This is an inclusive project. It's available to all age ranges, both boys and girls.
We've been planting potato seeds. They look like mini potatoes.
Right, what we're going to do then is plant the potato seed 30 centimetres apart. Now 30 centimetres is about that big. If you put a potato seed in the ground and then another one and another one.
You put the potato in and you cover it with soil so it'll encourage them to grow up. How long will it take to harvest?
These are new potatoes, so they'll take about 10 weeks. So this time next half term, we'll be able to pop them down to Jill in the canteen.
The veg that we grow in the garden, we use it for hot dinners at school. It's fun to be out in the garden all day.
It's fun, you know you're gonna be healthy because you've grown it by yourself. It's organic.
We tend to find the girls like doing the planting and growing the seedlings more, and the boys like to be out there with a sledgehammer and a pickaxe and doing the heavy manual work.
I'm about to put some topsoil into the raised bed. I like coming to the school allotment. You get to do planting, you get to do this stuff like bolting stuff.
I find it quite useful as well with some of the boys who struggle with anger management issues to be out here with a pickaxe. Obviously you have to watch them very closely.
Let's make noise like that.
Right, Karen, thank you very much. You've done a super duper job. Let's get the soil off the edge of the bed and then put the rake up against the fence so it's nice and safe. One of the advantages of having a school allotment is, on a day like today, being able to get outside of the classroom and for the students to be out here and actually create something tangible, something that they've grown themselves that they can then be proud of and pick and take down to the canteen and even eat for their school dinner.
This is a great lesson idea for showing the pupils how easy and cheap it is to make your own pizza. What ingredients would you need for a pizza? What sorts of things do we need to use?
Dough, tomato, cheese.
Cheese, that's right, we need cheese for a topping.
Mushrooms.
Mushrooms, yeah, if you want to, you can put mushrooms on a pizza. So anything else really is an extra, isn't it? It's what you actually fancy on a pizza. First of all, we're going to roll out our bread dough. Put the bread onto a lightly floured table. Who can tell me, what do I need to do to the rolling pin?
You flour it.
That's right, and just before I start rolling it, I'm going to just take the edges of the bread and just put them all into the middle, just to make sure that I've got it nice and smooth and it's not too sticky, otherwise it was a bit sticky on the edges that had been cut. I'm going to press on as I roll away. And when I bring the rolling pin back, I'm not pressing on. This way you know that it's not sticking to the table, and just lift it up onto your baking tray, and if it's gone out of shape, just use your fingers like that. I think the school garden is a really good initiative. It lets the pupils see what vegetables are in season, and it lets them try out vegetables they perhaps wouldn't normally try. They're much more willing to try something if they've actually been involved in growing it.
The spinach came from a wonderful school's allotment up there.
We're not going to put it in the oven straight away because the yeast has got to have time to rise. It's a living thing, and in order for it to rise and give off the carbon dioxide bubbles that are going to make the bread rise, a special bit of advice is really to have your room as warm as possible, because if the room's warm, then the yeast is going to start to multiply a lot faster, and your bread dough will rise a lot faster as well. Now, don't get your hands in it too much or it'll stick to your hands.
First, you get the dough. It's made by yeast, which is a living thing, so you have to wait for it to rise. When it rises, it gives off carbon dioxide, and it rises then. And then you spread your tomato puree on, then you can add your topping and...
Pepperoni, tomatoes, cheese.
Not too big with the cheese because it's very fattening.
Mushrooms.
Looks nice, Stephen. You just need to leave it on the side now so it can rise. In fact, if we put it here in the sun, it's going to rise a bit more. You've done a nice job with that, Callum. I think that's going to be quite a deep base, thick base pizza, isn't it? Mine was made a little bit earlier than yours, and you can see now if I just press that, and you see how it's risen, and so that can now go into the oven, and it's going to take about 10 minutes. I think the children are very proud about making their own pizza, and they're always very keen to eat it as quickly as they can.
It's quite zingy.
It's very nice. It's as nice as what you get in a restaurant. I like the sensation of making something and then getting to eat it, knowing you've made it and you've took like ages making it, because it's just fun to make.
It's nice. It's the cheese.